PAG staff lead for EPAC. Our previous chair and co-chair are not available today. So I'll go ahead and start the meeting off with introductions. I'll go ahead and just simply go down my list here. If you can give your name and intro, and start off with Aaron.
Hi, it's Aaron Tews with ADQ. I'm the Southeast Community Liaison for Cochise, Santa Cruz, and Pima counties.
And Idalis.
Good morning, this is Idalis Muyet from the town of Florida, project manager.
Alejandra.
This is Alejandra Freihoff, project engineer with Kinley Horn.
Andrew.
Morning, Andrew Agnew, citizen rep for City of Tucson.
And Camden.
Good morning, this is Camden Walsh. I'm a planner with the San Javier District.
And Charles.
Oh, hi, I'm ex officio with EPAC PAG, and I don't know where Alex Ball is. I just sent him an email. He's my replacement, but I'm taking notes, and so I can fill him in. But thank you for letting me just stick my nose in. I do not count towards quorum. I'm just interested in hearing about the Sa Juarita project.
Sounds
nice
good.
To see everyone.
All right. And Christina.
Good morning. This is Christina McVie, and I'm representing the Tucson Bird Alliance.
And Craig Roberts.
Hi, Craig Roberts, Pima County Wastewater Project Manager.
And Craig Wenger.
Craig Wenger, Kinley Horn, Program Manager.
David Barnes.
Yeah, David Barnes, Freeport McMoran, Sierrita Environmental Manager.
And David Mack.
Dave Mack with Arizona Department of Transportation Water Resources.
Hannah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Hannah Oden, Planning Manager at PAG.
Howard.
Howard Myers, representing the Southern Arizona Home Builders Association.
And Jeanette.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jeanette Debren, Transportation Planning Director here at PAG RTA.
Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Predick. I'm a conservation scientist at the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum.
Luke.
Hey, sorry, I've got a 10-second delay to unmute and turn my video on. It's very strange. Sorry, folks. Luke Cole, I direct the Santa Cruz River program here at Sonoran Institute. Good morning.
And Lydia.
Hi, everyone. Lydia Barker. I'm a planner with the City of Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility.
Michael.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Michael Garcia. I'm a planner with the town of Oro Valley.
Melanie.
Good morning. I'm Melanie Alvarez, and I'm a planning coordinator with PAG.
And Mirella.
Hi, good morning. Mirella Hamatka, Pima County Wastewater Planning.
Okay, and Natalie.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Schapp. I'm the Climate and Community Engagement Manager with the Pima County Department of Environmental Quality.
Great. And I have a couple in attendees. Not sure if they're in as panelists.
I haven't introduced myself.
Oh, Kimberly, sorry.
Kimberly Baeza with County Wastewater. Thank
Perfect. You. Okay. I think some of these attendees are being let in. If you just came in the room, feel free to introduce yourself.
I'm Lynn Lovelace, and I'm a representative from the League of Women Voters of Greater Tucson.
Great. And let's see, we have Frank.
Yes, good morning. Frank Bonias, City of Tucson Administrator at Los Reales Sustainability Campus.
Excellent. And if there were one or two that came in at the end, I missed you. If you could please introduce yourself to the group.
Hello, Jessica Rodriguez, Intergovernmental Relations for Tucson Water. Sorry for joining so late.
Oh, no worries. And was there one more? Is there Desi?
Hi, I'm Desi. I'm with Water Wastewater with Kimberly Horn.
Great. I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody else? Okay. We'll move on to the next item, the in-kind form. Regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and federal dollars. If you are paid with federal dollars, please let us know. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAG staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in this meeting. Time spent working on PAG RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. Okay, I'll proceed to agenda item 3. So this is the nomination and election of the EPAC chair and vice chair. At the December meeting, we had some nominations put forward. We had Alejandra and Natalie for the chair and Kimberly for the vice chair. There was a tie vote for the chair, so we pushed that item to this meeting. Since then, Natalie informed me that she was not open to fill the chair position. So at this point, our nominations remain as Alejandra for chair and Kimberly for vice chair. So I would ask if there are any other nominations from the group for a chair or vice chair. Okay. Well, with no discussion, we can proceed to the election portion and a vote for, oh, we have a question from Christina.
Can we just move the ticket? Can we just go ahead and vote, then move to vote on the ticket as presented since Natalie has withdrawn?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can move to vote, I guess, on the chair and vice chair
Well,
in conjunction, or?
Yes, I'd move the ticket.
Okay.
If there's a second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on approving that election of the chair and vice chair? Okay. Hearing no discussion, and Alejandra and Kimberly, just to confirm, you're still amenable to filling those positions? Okay. Great. So that vote has been moved forth, and we can proceed to the next item. And
we actually need to vote, Dustin.
Oh, a vote? Okay, let's go back. Sorry. All right, let me get the list actually here. Just a moment. Okay, let's vote on chair and vice chair. Start with the chair, Alejandra, and vice chair, Kimberly. So I'll go down the list if you could express your vote for both. Starting with Alejandra.
Yes.
and Kimberly
Yes.
and Ayedelis
Yeah.
and Andrew
Yes.
and Camden
Yes.
and Christina.
Yes.
David Barnes
Yes.
Frank Bonias,
Yes.
Howard Myers,
Yes.
and Jessica Rodriguez,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
Lydia,
Yes.
and Michael,
Yes.
and Natalie.
Yes.
Okay, great. Looks like that was all of the voting members present. I didn't see any aye. It was all yeses, so that concludes the election of the Alejandra as chair and Kimberly as vice chair. So congratulations. That'll be a 2-year term. And so Alejandra, we can proceed to item 4. And you can
Perfect.
commence
So-
facilitating. Thanks.
Yes, so for item 4, we have the approval of EPAC December 11, 2025 meeting summaries. Our action here is the approval of the meeting summary. So should
Move
we
to
get into
approve. Madam Chair, move to approve.
My second.
Sweet. Motion passes, so we can move on to
Madam Chair, motion doesn't pass. Motion needs to be voted on.
oh yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Do we need to go through the list? Or no?
Yeah, I can go through the voting members again, or you can just do a voice vote with ayes. Be more simple for this one.
Oh, okay. Everybody who's in favor, can you guys say aye?
Aye.
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 Perfect. So Christina, motion passes, right?
Correct, Madam Chair.
Perfect. So then can we move into item number 5? All right, so we're gonna be talking about the Sahuarita Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility. We have a representative from the county, PEMAC County Consultant Kim Wee Horn will be presenting on details and concepts of the planned project, including the pipeline and plant delivery approach, schedule, and high-level options for the effluent. So today we have Craig Winger, who's the program manager for this effort in Kim Wee Horn. So, yep, I'll pass it on to him. I'll be assisting with the presentation as well. That's okay. Craig?
Yeah, thank you, and congratulations to the election winners. Good luck on a new position for the year. Before we jump in, Craig Roberts is my county counterpart and living this from the county side. Craig, do you want to add anything here before we jump in?
Yeah, sorry, technology. No, go ahead, man. It's all yours.
Okay, great. Do you want to go to the, I don't know if I can. Oh, I can. Control slots. Awesome. So first, most exciting part of the presentation, we have a name, the Santa Rita Resource Recovery Facility. This is the name that has gone through a little bit of a voting process to figure out what would make the most sense for the facility moving forward. So wanted to share that with the team and let everyone know that it's coming down. So quickly, today we want to talk about a little bit about Pima County wastewater, a little bit about the program. Then we'll dig into the interceptor piece, the treatment options we're looking at, and then finally with some effluent options that are being considered. So on the screen here, you have the Green Valley facility, which is one of the treatment plants that the county maintains and operates. As part of this project, this facility will be moving to close, and the water from this facility will be transferred up to the new facility. Wastewater that's being treated there is going to be piped up to our new facility. So the county operates 7 different water reclamation facilities, over 400 square miles of service area, and 60 million gallons of water per day treated. So very large operation they manage and run for a big chunk of southern Arizona. Going back several years, there was the Program for Regional Optimization Master Plan, or ROMP, which led to 2 major water reclamation facilities being constructed, the Agua Nueva facility, as well as the Tres Rios facility. So this program that we're going to talk about today is really the next major regional plant that is being advanced. So this is a major part of the capital improvement program for the county and for wastewater. There's, like I was getting at in the beginning, there's 3 different projects as part of it. There's the new water reclamation facility, the Santa Rita, and then there's an interceptor, transporting Green Valley, the water that's going to Green Valley up to the new facility, and then eventually the closure of that Green Valley facility. So a quick little screenshot of what we're talking about here. So Green Valley is all the way at the bottom of your screen there. And then all the way at the top here in the blue box on the upper right-hand side is the location of the new Santa Rita facility. That is a parcel that the county owns currently. And so you can see this is actually, Suarita Road is essentially right in the, kind of in the middle of the screen there. So we are transferring all the way up Old Nogales Highway up to the new facility. So a couple different pieces of the program. Here's a closer view of the site that the treatment plant will be housed on, as well as some of the interceptor options, especially when we get up into Suarita Road. There's a couple different options that we see as viable for this moving forward. We talked about the closure of Green Valley, and then finally, the town's water reclamation facility has a potential to tie over and ultimately transition to the new facility. So, decisions in progress. There are a number of things that we're working on right now: construction and operational access for the facility, the capacity and technology that will be the basis of design for the facility, the alignments as we were talking about, and lastly, the effluent options. So, Ale, you want to give a quick understanding of the interceptor?
Yes. So right now, Kimberly Horn has been supporting the county on developing a few preliminary studies to determine minimum design criteria that we're going to be providing for RFQs. Right now, we have the interceptor, which is one of the studies. And right now for the interceptor, we have an estimated peak daily flow of 25 million gallons NGD. And this is over a 30-year planning horizon so far. We had an estimated pipe diameter of 42 inches with a pipe material of FRP or PVC, depending on the selected material or recommendation of the engineer when that one comes on board. Estimated depth, we're looking at about 20 25 feet. And right now it's all currently gravity flow coming from the existing Green Valley plant to the new regional facility. And the estimated length, depending on the route, and which this is the one we're going to be talking about pretty soon here, it's about 8 to 10 miles of interceptor. So next slide, please. All right, so like Craig was saying, we have evaluated 2 main alignments so far. We have alignment 1 and alignment 2. Alignment 1 pretty much is the one shown in yellow. So you guys can see that there is a big chunk from the Green Valley facility up to Sahuarita that is in color green. Basically, the 2 alignments follow the same upstream bridge, and we're gonna be pretty much on the western shoulder of Old Nogales Highway up to Sahuarita Road. Here, this is where the 2 interceptors start diverging. We have in alignment 1, which is pretty much also on the western shoulder of Nogales Highway, all the way up to the new regional facility. The second one, which is the red one or blue one-ish, that one is gonna be going through Sahuarita Road and then going up north next to the pecan fields until we meet the Pima County regional facility. We can go into the next slide. All right, so we are currently evaluating the facility, at least the treatment technologies that we're gonna be looking into for the new treatment facility. There's multiple options. So next slide. All right, so the Santa Rita Resource Recovery Facility, it's gonna be built for approximately 8 MGD. However, when this plant starts operating about somewhere in 2031, the initial flows that we're gonna be expecting are gonna be between 3 and 4 MGD. Right now, we are expecting those flows because the existing capacity of the Green Valley facility is about 2 or 3 MGD. So by then, we're anticipating initial flows of that, and then hopefully reaching its capacity of 8 MGD in the 30-year horizon. We are also designing this facility to have phase expansion capabilities here. We understand that Sahuarita is going to keep growing. So over the 30-year horizon, if there's need for more capacity, treatment capacity, then we want to make sure that the plant is ready to handle that expansion. We are also looking into several considerations. We're looking into budget and program alignment. We want to make sure that the construction and design falls within the county CIP program. We want it to be operations friendly. And of course, we want to include some technology innovation, some technologies that enhance performance and reliability, and of course, trying to stick to the green side here, which comes energy efficiency. Here we have energy efficiency, I'm sorry. So we want to incorporate energy savings measures and reduce greenhouse emissions across the entire treatment operations. And of course, we want to make water resources sustainable. We want to produce water quality that allow for enhanced water reuse and recharge opportunities depending on what we decide to do with the effluent. Next slide. As I said, here we have pretty much the different phases for expansion. Right now, we're going to be building to phase 1, which is 8 MGD. Eventually, we have looked at a build out of 28 MGD as the average daily flow, but that would be included in case we receive any industrial flows. However, phase 1, which is the average daily flow, for phase 4, we can see that the average daily flow there is 21 MGD. That's only assuming domestic flows, nothing industrial. So that considered secondary treatment technologies. We're looking into three. Right now, we haven't decided which one to go yet. Once the designer comes over, we're gonna be deciding what technology we're gonna be using for secondary treatment. However, the three that we're evaluating right now are membrane bioreactor. We're evaluating MABR, which is membrane aerated biofilm reactor, and aerobic granular sludge. Right now, these are two of them are technologies that are very innovative and are supposed to be operation friendly and energy friendly. Number one is the one that is the most proven out there. So we're gonna be conducting a detailed evaluation to determine which one we're gonna go with. And based on that, we're gonna be selecting the rest of the treatment processes within the plant. So more to come. Here we have, I'm just gonna go through the layouts very quickly here. We have the set layouts that we're anticipating for the plant. These are very preliminary. We have pretty much boxes and circles so far, but this is an approximate of how the plant can look like when it comes online. We're gonna be having, of course, we're gonna have core screening, inflant pump station, which is the headworks. We're also gonna have secondary treatment. We're gonna have tertiary treatment, which would be disinfection. And of course, we're gonna have some solids handling in the plant. So this is alternative one for MBR. The other two, if you guys go to the next slides, we have the MABR site layout. It has more equipment, as you guys can see, because depending on the technology, you're gonna be needing more or less equipment in order to operate that technology. And AGS here is the other one, but all of them are pretty similar. You guys can see that these technologies are gonna be fitting within the footprint we have for the site, for the wastewater treatment plant. And also you guys can see that we have room for expansion in the future. So yeah, that's basically so far what we've put together for the interceptor and the treatment plant.
Christina, you got a question?
I do. Alejandra, could you go back to that first map where you showed the site? It looked to me like there was a major wash going right through the middle of it.
Wait. Go. I think it was.
No, it's back a little bit more. It looked like there was literally at the very beginning, like there was a major wash that came right through the middle of this site.
Yeah, there's this area has many washes, and also we're in the floodplain, so we're gonna have to be elevating the site, putting
on the left side. That one looks like underneath that dark blue square. You can see that a wash goes from what appears to be the southeast corner to the northwest corner, diagonally across the site.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that right below the recharge facility?
The recharge facility. Are you talking about the retention pond that we showed in the layout?
No, I'm talking about what the county currently has for a recharge facility. Where they're recharging just south of the Sanavir district.
Interesting. I'm not familiarized with that research facility you're talking about, but let me dig into it, Christina, and then I can get back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Christina,
that.
Are you thinking of the Pima Mine Road CAP recharge operation that the city owns and operates?
Oh, I might be thinking of that. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too far away at this location.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this location, the county, as far as I know, does not have a recharge project. There's the Renews just north, I believe, but I don't think that's operating. I could be wrong, but I do believe
I'm
that's
interested in what's going to happen to the wash in particular. So, we have a tremendous amount of nesting purple martins down in that area in the pecan groves, and it is considered an important bird area for that species alone. We're doing a lot of studies on that. So I'm just curious about the impacts, in particular to the riparian areas. So thank you, Alejandra. If you could get back to me on that, I won't take up any more of the committee's time.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll follow up with you.
All right, thanks, Ali. Moving on through effluent use. So this is an area of the program that is still being evaluated. Ultimately, the decision on what to do with the effluent over time is going to be one that is decided by the council for Pima County. So this won't be this is not a Pima County wastewater only decision. They'll make a recommendation to the board. So what is effluent? This is a quick little walkthrough of what we're talking about here, with some cleverly colored cups of water. Obviously, comes in as the worst, and as it works through the various processes of the treatment plant, what we send out the end hopefully looks as close to that clear glass of water as we can. The goal of this project is to produce that A+ effluent, not drinking water standard, so hopefully no cups of water coming out, but useful for discharge to recharge basins, or useful to discharge to the stream, to the river there, or any reuse, reclaimed use. So there's a number of options that are being considered. Like we talked about, recharge and storage of that water, using either constructed recharge facilities, some of which may already exist that we can take advantage of, or building new ones for this project. Natural stream recharges, which could include going to the river right there, and then groundwater offset supplies, so private buyers for that approach. Community uses and seasonal uses. There's been a lot of discussion with the county of the county has, not necessarily tied to this project, but the county has goals to try to help the golf course program and getting them off of some of the groundwater that's not on a reclaim system. The mining industry and other businesses that need it, the FICO group there, growing the trees in that area, as well as other community water providers. And then a hybrid approach. So it's important to recognize that, as Ale pointed out on the scaling of this project, we don't have to make one decision that applies to all phases of the project. As more development, more water, more wastewater gets to this facility, as we cross certain thresholds, that may trigger other uses for the effluent. All right, effluent as a resource. So this is a nice little chart here showing all of the various things that we can do with effluent and all of the documented benefits that it shows. That's the variety of things that we show here have all shown that to be stuff that the county already takes advantage of in this area, as well as proven track record throughout the entire state. So a couple of those that are worth mentioning are the benefits that we've seen from water being discharged to the Santa Cruz River, reuse water being used for golf course in the northern parts of the county, where the reclaim system for Tucson Water exists, water being used to offset development projects and mining operations and things like that. So there's been just a really successful use of this effluent as a resource. There's a number of effluent-dependent waterways in the state, but also in the region. So we kind of have a quick little screenshot here of Santa Cruz and the various projects that have come online through here to add effluent back into the system there. And then there's a graphic on the right-hand side that shows this at a higher level across the state. So this is not by any means a comprehensive list of stakeholders, but this does show a number of property large property owners or communities within the project area. So we can quickly highlight a few of these. The Arizona Center for Nature Conservancy is immediately adjacent to our site in there in orange. The Asarco facility, which is also Cemex. Cemex leases a big piece of that property there immediately to the north. The FICO plantation area there is immediately to the west. And then, obviously the town school, the high school that the town has in Sarita, is really all surrounding us. And then we've got the Tohono O'odham Nation to the really downstream in the on the Santa Cruz there. And then further south towards Green Valley, we have the community in Green Valley and also FMI's facilities there. So just a number of stakeholders that property owners in the area that have, shown a large interest in where this is going. Okay, so timeline. We talked a little bit. Ali mentioned that we have some different stages of the process happening. So there will be project managers, 2 project managers hired to oversee the plant design and construction and the interceptor design and construction. So hot off the press, the PM RFQs actually are published today. They're out on the street as of this morning. So if any of you are prospective PM firms, please make sure to go take a look. We're very excited to get all of the submissions for that, those 2 contracts. And then in in the next several weeks, we will be putting out the next round of RFQs for the engineers and the CMAR contractors. So during the next March timeframe, we'll be bringing on an engineer to design the interceptor, an engineer to design the plant, a contractor to build the interceptor, and a contractor to build the plant. So that delivery will utilize the CMAR method to do that. Construction is anticipated to begin around 2028, and then hopeful that the plant is online by 2031. And then in 2031, once the plant's operational and flows will be shifted, we'll be looking at decommissioning the Green Valley facility. So with that, I wanted to open it up for any questions you all may have, and any things that Kim, go ahead.
Well, I love the name you guys came up with. And I was just curious about the voting you mentioned and how it was arrived upon.
The name itself?
Yeah.
Oh, I think there were seven different options that were developed from the start of the project, and it was essentially, oh gosh, there was I think a poll that was sent around to the team that's working on the program, and essentially Santa Rita rose to the top, and then so now that's just the latest news on that one, Kim.
It's a great name. And to a more substantive question, I interact a lot with community groups and work on the Living River project and others concerning river restoration, river stewardship activities, and so forth. So I've gotten a lot of questions about the opportunity for water in the river. And for the group's information here, there's absolutely no prohibition for effluent discharges into the Santa Cruz River at this location. And it's a wide misconception, but there is no prohibition. And the water from this facility would probably be among the highest quality effluent water produced in the county, just given, this is state-of-the-art technology in a new facility. And so I know that a previous report that was shared with me, and I don't have the name of it off the top of my head, but I was wondering, how have you been developing that option some more, effluent to the river that in previous evaluations was not considered?
how have we worked through, how we worked through the effluent options? Is that what your question is?
Yes, you had the effluent options there, and I'm very happy to see that effluent to the river is an option. And though I can't reference the report by name, it is one that the county had a consultant prepare, in which options to sending the water to the river were not considered.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. So ultimately,
I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, if you have it, I can take a look. So ultimately, our process has really trying to basically just present legally what are the options, and then within the Groundwater Management Act and other state regulations, what do those options yield for the county, right? So when it comes to things like, if we were to recharge, and how does the long-term storage credit process work? Within the long-term storage credit process, the county has collected X number of long-term storage. I think it's something like 40,000 plus acre feet of long-term storage credits, right? It's what the county has already been collecting over the years. So just trying to understand, like, hey, what's the value of these long-term storage credits? Is that something that we want to continue collecting? Is that something that is, or how do we see them being, or how does the regulation envision them to be used in the future? When it comes to the river, Kim, you and I have talked at length, and we've been taking the couple of the studies that you shared with us to try to quantify, at least in some general terms, like, hey, how do you quantify the value of water in the river from the economic benefit? How do you quantify it from a, ecological benefit? I know Christina mentioned, the beauty of the area having such a strong bird population, and how that all ties back into, some form of at least a way to describe it in a way that the commissioners can see and say, yeah, okay, I understand this, I understand these things. Hopefully be able to make an informed decision on what's the best path, at least for initial phases. And like I mentioned, I think one of the most important pieces of the process at this point is it's not that first plant turns on and we're at 3 to 4 MGD. We don't need one solution for all 3 to 4 MGD. There's the Arizona Center of Nature Conservancy and what they're developing there. Is there a beneficial use for putting some water in that facility to help them? There's other things that the town wants to achieve, community water in that area. So there's a lot of interest in what happens with the effluent. So just trying to highlight them all in some easily digestible framework. And that's as I say all of it, I just continue to realize, like, this is the hardest task we have, right? So, Charles, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Thank you. I did an evaluation. South Florida has its own little POTW, its own little treatment plant.
They do.
Yeah. It uses a German technology for nutrient removal. I'd never heard of it. Modified Ludzak-Ettinger process. Are you folks planning on doing any nutrient removal steps in this plan? I know I've worked with membrane bioreactors, so you get such a high quality effluent that by nature it has a reduction, but there's always some things that are dissolved. And the second thing I noticed was biosolids disposal or sludge disposal. How will you manage the biosolids from this new facility?
So yes, like the MLE process that you talked about is actually one that comes up in a couple of our options that we're looking at. But yeah, nutrient removal is absolutely critical for any solution that's chosen. The one thing, Charles, I'll say is that any final design processes are all going to be put and left really for the next for the engineer that gets selected. So the options that we've laid out at this point have just been merely options that we have considered from a feasibility of this site for moving forward to a design and construction. These options have also been the options we've developed have also been used to help the county determine, what is a reasonable budget for the project. But in the next 6 months, I fully expect that we'll have designers, contractors, project managers all on board, and that the finalization of that approach from a treatment and technology standpoint will be on the engineers that are hired in the next 6 months. So to wrap around, solids handling is something that we have evaluated a number of options that start with do nothing and a wet haul type of scenario. That proves to be, we essentially have trucks nonstop in that condition, moving solids out, which is something that kind of leads to not being a successful use of county funds and also, county resources there. So, at this point, we're recommending at least some form of dewatering. It could be something simple like a screw press, or, there's also space planning that's been done for, 100% like dry solid creation, like a solar dryer, greenhouse type of facility. I would imagine that based on our funding today and where that's going, that would be a future project that the site can handle, but it's not something that would happen in this initial phase.
Okay, thank you.
Christina, you got a question?
Yes, and just wanted to share some information. So I'm not sure you're aware that this year the county is celebrating the 25th year of the Sonoran Desert Conservation Plan and the 10th year anniversary of our multi-species conservation plan. And the weakest portion of our entire permit, which is with the federal government, it's a 30-year incidental take permit, is riparian restoration. We have actually a deficit in that regard. So I would just suggest, I'm on the committee for the 25th anniversary of the SDCP and 10th year anniversary of the MSCP planning process. And I would suggest that it would be useful for you to share with the engineer that you may be hiring the context in which this project's being developed and the long-term impacts that it might have on that. Getting our effluent to an A+ quality to begin with was a big fight. There was, as you are probably aware, some scandal regarding what was going on at the time. And thanks to the leadership of the board under Supervisor Elias's chair, that was resolved. And now the county has one of the cleanest effluent streams in the nation, as opposed to having had one of the most toxic. So I would just hope that your consultant would be fully aware of the context in which they're operating. And thank you very much for a great presentation.
Oh, thank you for sharing that too, Christina. Yeah, and absolutely, it's the good work that's been done in the region by all the stakeholders, and a lot of which are on the call right now, is something that's definitely very important to this program. So. Charles?
Audio is on. I would like to recommend some engineers apply. Who would be the contact person or agency or email that people would send responses to?
So all of the procurements go through the county's procurement website. So there's no need to contact anyone. If you go to the county's website and look at procurements, you have to gain access to their portal for that. But all of the directions are there. Additionally, the procurements are all published in various public postings. So Ali, I don't know if you know off the top of your head which publication these were posted in. I know I should know this because we've been talking about it for the last 6 weeks, but I don't have it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know we can definitely follow up on that one. Mm-hmm.
What's that? You don't have
we can definitely follow up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but basically for anyone that's interested, just use that county website. It shows all the instructions. All the submittals have to go back in through the county website. And then there's a pretty detailed process by which they are evaluated. The firms that do submit and are shortlisted or selected for an interview, and then we'll interview those firms to determine which one we think is the best one to start negotiating a scope of fee with.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
Oh, Melanie?
Yeah, I think we're gonna
yes.
Oh, yes, Melanie.
Oh, yes, of course. Just a quick comment. I wanted to thank you so much for presenting today. This is very valuable to hear and good to hear this discussion. And just wanted to remind everybody that with PAG, we have our area-wide water quality management plan, or 208 plan, and that construction of new facilities does require us to do a consistency review with our 208 plan. And if this requires any other changes, things like a change to the DMA boundary or the joint planning area with Sahuarita, then we'll have a coordination process that'll go through. So we look forward to hearing more as this progresses, and sometime between now and 2028, we'll invite you to come back and to present to EPAC and to our watershed planning subcommittee about this. So thank you so much. This is really helpful, really good to hear about this process so far.
Thank you, Melanie. We have room for one more question. So Adelis, go for it.
Hi, this is Idalis from the town of Sahuarita. We were just asking ourselves whether the alignment from the SWRF, the existing Sahuarita water reclamation facility, to the new facility has been decided.
No, not at all. And that's still very much something that will be evaluated as we move forward. I think right now it's really just shown as a shortest path, but it may not make the most sense to do that. So there's a few other options that are out there with other other areas that are like, for instance, I think the casino on Pima Mine Road has a small treatment facility they operate right now. There could be an opportunity to bring that one over, so there could be some benefits of utilizing a line in Pima Mine Road, for instance, that would serve everyone.
One last question. Does water that's gravity fed go at right angles and cut corners like that well, or isn't it better to have it just straight?
It is, when we make turns in lines, it does create a hydraulic changes. Fortunately for this project, the size of the line, like those hydraulic impacts, are minor compared to the cost of right of way and impacts to private property. So the alignment as shown now is purely just a planning level document, and once the engineer comes on board, that'll be one of the first tasks, is take that alignment to a design level. And I imagine that they will have to have more structures that change the direction of the flow to some degree. So it's ultimately, though, driven by the constraints that we have with other properties, environmental impacts, the railroad, variety of things that kind of force our hand. As an engineer, it would be make my job a lot easier if we could just take that pipe straight in, right? Always love design like that, but we won't have that fortune here for everything. So. All right.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Craig. We appreciate
Thank you all.
your
Thank you
presentation
for
and your
inviting
time.
us, and we'll look forward to keep working with you and keep you posted with updates as we go.
Sweet. All right. Thank you so much. So moving into our next item number 6 of the agenda, we have Los Reales Sustainability Campus Plan Area Development. We have a representative from the City of Tucson, who is Frank Bonillas, and he will present on this project, and it's April 2025 amendment. So I'll pass it on to Frank.
Yes, good morning. I'm trying to share so that I can present my PowerPoint. Okay. The PowerPoint on?
You don't see it yet. There you go. We can see it now.
Okay. All right, great. So today I'm going to be talking about the Los Reales Sustainability Campus Planned Area Development, PAD number 14, which had a revision in 2025. So most of you may be aware of the Los Reales, historically Los Reales landfill, which has been renamed to the Los Reales Sustainability Campus. It's roughly located south of Davis Mountain Air Force Base and east of the Tucson International Airport around I-10 and the Craycroft exit, just
Hey,
south.
Frank,
Yes.
we can't see your slides. We're seeing a Word document right now.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry for interrupting.
Let me see what's going on here. How's that?
We can see
Okay.
it.
Yeah, right now we're looking at the aerial view.
Okay, good. Okay. So just to give you an idea, I just wanted to give the aerial presentation so that you can see. If you look at the red dotted line, that is the permitted area for Los Reales landfill. So this is our permitted fill area. Currently, you can see, if you can follow my cursor, this is the unlined area historically for the landfill. And then we have cell 1, which is a lined landfill cell. Cell 2, cell 3, and then 4A and 4B. So we are currently filling here in this area. The entire site is what encompasses the sustainability campus. So in 2025, the planning center was engaged so that they can start doing a revision of the pad. And the final document was finalized in January of 2025, and then it went through the zoning examiner and then approved by mayor and council on August 6, 2025. The original document was adopted in 2006. It was then amended in 2008 and 2015, and that's when we expanded the site to 1,087 acre landfill. And then now, of course, the 2025 revision is basically to envision the sustainability campus, which is geared to achieve the city's zero waste goals. So the primary goal for doing the revision was to rename the location, the site, to the Los Reales Sustainability Campus, and then expand the boundaries, which were to include an additional 44 acres that the city acquired within the recent years for a total of 1,136 acres. Also, the revision would establish, tailor fit development regulations under the Unified Development Code. And then, minor text edits that we needed to do. So the main vision here is that we're transforming the current waste management areas and the campus so that we essentially achieve net zero emissions. And by 2030, our goal is to achieve 50% waste diversion. By 2050, hopefully achieve that zero waste. The goal too is to implement best management practices so that we can divert as much waste as possible from the landfill in a sustainable way. And so that we also have best management practice for resource management. And then I'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to try to achieve that. We're including open spaces and recreation spaces at this location. And we're going to also develop some commercial spaces so that we can invite some commercial entities that can come in and help us achieve our goals by either recycling or finding better uses for some of the materials that come through the landfill so that we don't have to landfill those materials. It's also going to include a tree growing area for the 1 Million Tree Initiative. And we're currently working with Tucson Clean and Beautiful. And I'll talk a little bit more towards the end about that initiative. And we also want to develop an educational center so that we can invite the public, the community, and learn about sustainability and learn about the campus and all the efforts that we're engaging in. Just to give you an idea, this area up here is what we're adding to the entire campus. And the pink area is the existing pad. Okay, so the main pad is divided, the revised pad, into two districts: Sustainability Campus District and then Open Space and Recreation District. For the sustainability part of it, we're defining specific waste reclamation areas. We're also establishing the commercial eco pads that I mentioned a little bit about. And then we're also, right now we have an RFP out to see if we can site a recycling facility, materials recycling facility here at this location. We're also looking into forward so that we can use the landfill gas and develop an landfill gas to energy project. And then with the organics diversion that we're doing, we currently have a compost facility, but as more diversion happens, more food waste and green waste that comes in, we're going to have to expand the facility. And so we're also looking and trying to establish a state-of-the-art compost facility. On the open space district, we're including a location for parks and recreation space for Tucson Parks and Recreation to establish a park on site with ball fields and then other amenities. And I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end too. But we're also looking at open space so that we have a good buffer zone around our waste reclamation area around the entire site. It's going to include a multi-use path, bike routes, and everything that would go with that. Community resources, activities areas. Again, I mentioned the education center. That's primarily where those would fit into that district, and the tree growing center. This is a general concept, but you can see this is what the padding encompasses. Basically, the waste reclamation is basically in the middle, mostly in the middle of the site. The green areas would be that buffer zone that I talked about. Open space and recreation up here in this area, if you can see the cursor. That's where where we are proposing to develop the Parks and Recreation, the park. This area up here is going to be the commercial paths. And over on this area, you see the community resource activity areas for the education center. And along the way, we also have a few other spots where we could do, eco commerce, and we can have companies come in and help us with some of the recycling and diversion. For the park, as I mentioned in the top area, this is the ballparks that are being proposed up here in this area. And then the eco pads. And this is just a concept, so we can have as many as you see here. We might have less than this. If we need smaller pads, if we can accommodate those, then that's basically what we'll end up having. But this area here and what you see here would be a material recycling facility. And this is where we're proposing that it would be sited within the site. As far as the conceptual here for the walking path, as you can see, we would basically walking paths, a bike path, and then also for the open space and the buffer area, a lot of trees, and many of those trees from the Million Tree Initiative would be sited at this location as well. The bottom here, you would see it's mostly would be the Los Reales Road, possibly. And just to give you a quick overview of our current operations, which fit into the pad, is of course we have scale house management, household hazardous waste. We are engaged in green waste, food waste, and animal manure diversion, primarily right now from the zoo. And we are creating compost, and then that compost is being provided back to the community, to the golf courses that the city owns. And we're working with Tucson Unified School District right now with the school gardens as well. Then I mentioned the recycling center. We're also have an asphalt recycling initiative here on site, where we are recycling all the asphalt millings from the road maintenance throughout the city of Tucson. And then, of course, the Million Tree Initiative. And just quickly, just to give you a quick overview, we do receive currently around, this number is a little outdated, that's 2023, but we're up around 760 to 780,000 tons of waste material that comes through this location. We are a regional landfill because we accept not only within city of Tucson, but we accept waste from Pima County or any material that might be disposed of. I mentioned, of course, we are primarily a landfill. But as time goes and we divert more materials, that should be on the lower end of the operations that will be existing here at this site. Household hazardous waste, we also went through a recent remodeling of the facility here. Traditionally, a household hazardous waste facility was off-site. It is now located within the campus, and which is why we went through the modifications. We added safety storage for the hazardous chemicals that come through. Then we have a processing hood where all the consolidation happens here. And I mentioned compost facility as well. And just as feedstock, we do run a windrow operation. And with some of the state of the art, what we're looking at to improve is possibly do a covered air supply system. But that requires much more throughput through our facility but we are included in our composting food waste, the zoo manure, which we call Zudu. And then green waste is, but as far as manure goes too, as we expand, we'll also be able to accept and include in the composting horse manure from local horse stalls, as an example. With the food waste diversion, the city of Tucson has a commercial food waste collection program, which we work with the compost cast from the U of A. And we also have a food cycle at home, which is a residential collection program, which started with, early 2025. And we're also diverting green waste that comes in from landscapers or just from cell haulers, people that do their own maintenance at home. And we separate as much of the green waste as we can if it comes in a clean state. What we don't include is going to be palm fronds and cacti, because those don't necessarily compost well in our system. Bifusion is the city of Tucson has partnered with Bifusion, a company that is coming out to Tucson. We're building this facility. It's in the process of being completed later in the spring, and operations should start by the summer of 2026. You can see these are what's called the buy blocks, which are used in building, which are the blocks that are being produced by Bifusion, that will be produced by Bifusion here at this facility. They're currently operating out of California, but they will be moving their operations completely to Tucson. And then, of course, we have just a recycling center where the public can come. It's mostly like a neighborhood recycling center where we accept all the recycling, the glass, traditional recycling materials, cardboard, appliances, tires, and of course, any metal that people bring into us. I mentioned the asphalt recycling. This is here on site. You can see down here the crushing unit, screening and crushing for that asphalt. And that asphalt is the millings come to this location, and then it goes through the crushing and screening operation, and then it's reused with emulsion and for the resurfacing of some of the streets within the city of Tucson. We started with a pilot, but currently they are here at this location, and moving forward, once we establish specifically where they're going to be located, more than likely within a 10-acre site, then we will have more of a permanent, long-term operation within the site. They do have their own separate air permit from our facility. And then the tree center, just to give you a little view of all the trees that are being grown here at the site are on pots by Tucson Clean and Beautiful. Through that initiative, we're all in the process of expanding their location. They've pretty much outgrown this. So we're adding another 150 by 150 area just adjacent to this one. This tree center started in 2023, and by the end of this year, they're going to have the extension. Okay. That is all I have on Pat. If anyone has any questions, happy to field those.
Yeah, sounds like Christina raised her hand first. Christina, why don't you go first?
I'm just so impressed, and I just want to thank you so much, Frank, for your presentation. What a difference and what an evolution in this site. It's just remarkable. You guys are doing fabulous work. I really appreciate it. So I'm hoping that the lessons learned and the technologies that you are applying to reclaiming and restoring those cells that are already full might also be applied to other previous landfill sites which line the Santa Cruz. Has there been any thought to how to do that? I'm thinking in particular of the area at the foot of A Mountain. Thank you so much.
Sure. So we are in the management, the operation and management, or O&M of those closed landfills does fall under our purview right now within the Los Reales campus, the compliance and ensuring that we are maintaining those sites. We do monitoring, groundwater monitoring, not only groundwater monitoring, but also landfill gas for the perimeter of those landfills. The city also has a landfill ordinance so that any construction or any building that's going to be within 100 or 500-foot boundary of any of those closed landfills, then we are able to review those plans, and then we can also provide the information, whoever is doing that development. And then we also, if it's within 100-foot boundary of a closed landfill, then they are required to have monitoring for landfill gas.
I understand that, but I've toured landfills up in the Phoenix area and Tempe where they've actually been reclaimed into parks. And I noticed that looking at the ball fields, and I noticed that there are plantings. It appears from the graphic that you showed us that there would be trees and shrubs. I'm wondering why we can't do something like that at the base of Timamook or other sites.
And definitely possible, and those are some of the goals that we're looking at to determine what we can actually do. So we are in the process of engaging some consultants to provide us some development ideas for those closed landfills. The Congress landfill and Nearbon landfill, those were fully excavated and removed. Congress, there's still a few pieces of waste that wasn't able to be removed. But if you were aware, the Caterpillar site right now sits on the old Congress Road landfill. So there are some initiatives.
Yeah, I know. Have you been up to Phoenix to see the ones where they have not been completely excavated, but they have been transformed into parks?
Right. I have not seen those myself.
Oh, I highly encourage you to do so because we seem to not be moving forward in a very proactive stance here where we could be doing so much with so little without having to spend the $33 to $34 million that was estimated for fully excavating that site.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Natalie, you can go next.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank. I would agree that you all have made considerable progress on this site with, I love the work you're doing with food waste and trees and biofusion, and putting that all together makes a lot of sense. I do have considerable concerns, though, about the park concept, and I'll explain why. The Pima County Department of Environmental Quality holds your air quality permit, and it is one of the largest sources of air pollution in Pima County. The air pollution that is listed that I am referring to right now has very large numbers of particulate matter, NOx, SO2, carbon monoxide, hazardous air pollutants. When I look at Carbon Mapper satellite data, I see one large source of methane, and it's from the Los Reales landfill. You are flaring methane out there. So I've been saying this for years now. I'm not sure why I'm not being heard, but it seems like you are creating an environmental justice issue when you build a park on one of the largest sources of air pollution and then invite children to come and play soccer on it and breathe heavily. It does not seem like a great idea to me. I know you've had some issues controlling emissions from your wells, which our department is working with you on now. And I know you're making progress there. But I guess it just befuddles me that the air pollution emissions that are coming from that site wouldn't be considered a problem for bringing more people there to run around and be active. Can you help me understand what the disconnect is there and why that's not being considered?
So, and just to give you a little bit of background, you did mention the emissions and the compliance issues that we've had. But we are doing considerable progress also on controlling the landfill gas. So part of that, not only to improve our gas collection system, but also to get towards a landfill gas to energy project so that we are not having to flare the materials, so that we can actually have beneficial use for the landfill gas, and not necessarily just being, like you said, flared at the site. And we're working. It's taking us some time, but we're making some progress to hopefully reach those goals. The location where this park is considerably currently distance from our field area. This is something that Parks and Recreation is engaging on. So I'm sure there's going to be, potentially, there might be some monitoring that's going to be done. We do also have perimeter monitors that we monitor here at the location to ensure that landfill gas is not migrating offsite and it's being captured by our collection system. So that's as much as I can explain to you, that we are actively improving our control and our collection system for our landfill gas.
But Frank, even under the best case scenario with the collection system, you would still be a major source of air pollution because of the sheer size and the volume of material that you're bringing in and have been for many, many years. It's not going to end now, and you're never going to be at a place where you're not going to be a major source of air pollution, regardless of how wonderful the collection system works. So to me, it seems irresponsible to be planning for a recreational facility because when we talk about air pollution, it's concentrated at the source and then it dissipates considerably. And I don't know where the flare is, but relative to the site, but it does not seem like a responsible move to be putting a park on that site. I just want to say that for the record. I would hope that you all would maybe speak with your leadership about that and reconsider that idea.
Your point is taken and definitely into consideration. Thank you. I think Kimberly.
Well, I appreciate Natalie's point. I was first going to chime in just to something similar to what Christine said, and it's so wonderful to see how imaginative you guys have been in bringing on all these other uses and resource recovery operations to Los Reales. And perhaps I missed this, but I was curious. You're expanding your tree nursery operation, and I was wondering, where are you sending those to? Like, where do you use them? And my other question is, and again, I may have missed it, the pads that you were talking about along the I think east side of the property. What is the intended use of those?
Okay, so let me address the trees first. So on the trees, Tucson Clean and Beautiful basically manages that location. Most of those trees, my understanding, are being planted within currently projects that the city has, whether it's on neighborhood boundaries or other locations, but I think I couldn't answer specifically where.
In South Tucson too. They're being planted in South Tucson.
Right. But I did mention that many of those trees, once we start our buffer area, phase 1, we're going to be planting a lot of those trees within our boundary too. But it is a 1 million tree initiative, and so it's going to go on for quite some time. Tucson Clean and Beautiful has another location where they're growing trees. This is the Seoul area. And so basically, yes, those trees are going to be, distributed throughout the city. I know that Tucson Clean and Beautiful at one point had a system where they would offer some trees to the public as well. But I'm not sure if these type of trees, but these are native trees, but they're growing here. So they may be available for the general public as well. Hope I answered the question on the trees. And then you asked about the pads, the eco pads on the eastern end. So the intent for those, as we move towards our zero waste goals, and we are diverting more materials. Right now, we're diverting or trying to divert as much of the organics that are coming in, and that's why we have our compost facility. But as we're able to divert other materials, which there could be a reuse store, for example, and pool furniture or other items that can still be reused. You'll be surprised the amount of materials that come through here that could have maybe a very small fix, and some materials are maybe even in good shape where if we're able to pull them off before they enter the fill area, then those could be diverted and then resold or offered to the public at reduced pricing. And that's just one example for a reuse store. Another example would be, for example, a facility that could recycle mattresses. Mattresses for us in our operation and our heavy equipment it's very hard on the equipment. They don't compact very well. So finding a solution for mattresses that are coming into this area would also be a solution. Another solution could be, for example, pallets, wood pellets. If we're able to divert those from the fill area, then if we bring in a company that wants to recycle those or reuse them, refurbish them, then that's also another solution. So you can go down the line with different type of materials.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I'd just like to clarify that when I was talking about the landfill next to Mission Gardens in particular, I was not talking about a recreational facility. And I really do appreciate Natalie's point. It seems incongruous one would put children in that situation. But nonetheless, planting trees is a wonderful suggestion for reclaimed landfill, and I would definitely support that in any and all opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
All right, we have 1 more minute. Sounds like no more questions.
Okay, I do want to thank everyone for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. We're happy to have you. So thank you. See no further question. We'll move to the next agenda item. And we have here the EPAC bylaws. And we're going to be having Dustin walking us through an overview of the PAC bylaws and suggested updates. So I'll pass it on to you, Dustin.
Great. Thanks, Ellie. Again, Dustin Satrick, I'm the Environmental Planning Administrator at PAG. I'll be giving an update on our EPAC bylaws. So these were included in the meeting packet today. If you had a chance to look at them, they're pretty standard and comparable to other committees at PAG. There's 7 articles, the name and establishment of the committee, responsibilities and functions of EPAC, membership, committee meetings, officers, subcommittees, task forces and working groups, and the rules of order. So these originated with the formation of the committee and have been updated periodically, with the current status being the copy that was included in today's meeting materials, having been updated in August 2011. So we're coming up on 15 years since that update. You may notice there were a couple of minor revisions in 2012, adding a transportation group, which is interest group, which is filled by Tucson Airport Authority currently, and another minor revision in 2015 when PAG moved buildings downtown to indicate that proper address. So we've been evaluating the EPAC bylaws similarly to other PAG committees. There are inconsistencies with what we follow in the PAG committee operating guidelines and what you see in the PAG committee fact sheets online. The EPAC committee is a bit different than some of the other committees in that we have 3 member spots for the city and county. We have citizen members appointed for each of the jurisdictions. And then we have 10 different interest groups. So we've been looking at some of the bigger points. I'll go through those here that stand out. In Article 2, we're looking to add evaluation of air quality conformity analysis and determinations. Those are conducted when we update our TIP and RMAP, our short range and long range transportation plans. We'd look to run those through the committee. Article 3, we'd be looking to add ADOT as a voting member. In the current bylaws, there's language states any jurisdiction upon approval of PAG Regional Council becomes a member of PAG can be added as a member to EPAC. So that happened a while back with the Regional Council has a member from the Arizona State Transportation Board. And in following that, Management Committee, which we're under the umbrella of, has a member of ADOT in their voting membership. And the Transportation Planning Committee, which is adjacent to us, also has a member of ADOT. So currently our quorums, we're looking at 8 jurisdictional members. It'd be easier with the 9, perhaps to reach that quorum. And I see David Max here, and we can have discussions with ADOT in the future about that. Amending one of the interest groups is listed as the Southern Arizona Bufflegrass Coordination Center. That's changed to be housed under the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. Article 4, we're looking at adding video teleconference and quarterly meeting schedule. Currently, the language falls back to in-person monthly meetings on Fridays. So that's adjusted to quarterly meetings, and currently on Thursdays. Sahuarita moved their schedule to have some Fridays off. So that would be an update. Adding a majority of jurisdictional members for quorum, as I was mentioning with ADOT coming in as the 9th. The current bylaws just simply state members present establishes a quorum, and that's not consistent with open meeting laws and whatnot. So to conduct business, at least in terms of action items, and conducting business is the official term used, we'd be looking to have quorum to move on with those. Otherwise, if we don't reach quorum, we've conducted meetings for just informational items only. And then last Article 5, adding the chair election in the first quarter of the calendar year. That's been specific to January, which we typically haven't been meeting in January. So these are some of the more major changes that PAC staff is looking at as we move forward with the update process. Before the next spring meeting, we will send out the bylaws in a Word version, editable to EPAC, and then also Air Quality Subcommittee and Water Planning Shed Subcommittee members for your feedback and recommendations. As I said, PAG staff had proposed recommendations. We'll put those together and share the feedback and recommendations, and look to finalize an update to those bylaws with a committee vote. And then they'd be more consistent with, again, the open meeting laws, the PAG guidelines, and as well as the committee fact sheets. So that's it for this item. It's timely with the changing out of the 2-year terms for the chair and vice chair, and have everybody get familiarized with what the bylaws are, as most people may not be familiar, and look to our website at the committee guidelines and fact sheets. So happy to answer some questions.
Thank you, Dustin. I saw Christina raise her hand first, and then Natalie can go after.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dustin, can you, first of all, can you send us that slide or those slides immediately so that we can begin to review those? I am very concerned about the way that PAG has been administrating EPAC over the last few years. We have not conformed to our bylaws, and nor did we have any input whatsoever into what was decided for us. So I am, I think, open and happy to see that there's going to be an actual process where we have something to say. But I'm very concerned about the fact that voting members who are not jurisdictional apparently don't count. You know, it would be one thing if those members were just ad hoc or advisory, but when you are a full member of the committee and you're told that you don't have a voice, that is interesting to me. I am not sure that that was ever the case in all the years that I've been involved with PAG and EPAC, and that goes back over some 25 years. I am shocked at some of these interpretations. And I would like also, when you send us that information in the 2 slides, if you could cite us the state laws and the other sources that you're using to come to these conclusions. Thank you very much.
Sure thing, Christina. And I hadn't put forward that members wouldn't be voting members. We're discussing the item of quorum as it exists in the bylaws as members present, which would allow voting on actions without a majority present.
But it has not in the last couple of years. And so I'm very confused, and I would like to know the sources, citations, and I would like to have your slides if you wouldn't mind. And I would like to understand the background of what we are doing moving forward, because it's been very disturbing.
Certainly. Thanks for your points. And that's part of moving forward with open process and asking for the input and recommendations from the committee.
I think, Christina, you can go ahead, Natalie.
Thank you. As someone who's sat on this committee for almost 5 years now and chaired it, I would agree with Christina. I'm happy that this is coming to the forefront now and that we can discuss this and provide feedback. bylaws are the way in which we are supposed to be guided. We should be referring to bylaws in order to make sure that we are following the rules that were outlined and adopted. There are several things in addition to the voting, which nowhere in the bylaws does it explicitly say that you must have just jurisdictions there to reach quorum. So the other people who are voting members, the other entities who are voting members should be considered equally based on the way that the bylaws are worded as far as considering whether or not you have a quorum and for voting purposes. The other thing that's been inconsistent the entire time that in this 5 years I've been sitting on this committee is that it does say that we meet monthly at 9:30 on Friday. I'm fine with considering changing that, but I don't really understand why we are not holding the meetings as is outlined in the bylaws. I personally think there's enough going on in the world of environmental topics in Pima County that we could be meeting monthly. We have plenty to discuss. I think it would give us an opportunity to consider other actions that we have done historically with this committee, whether that be drafting resolutions, creating additional subcommittees to discuss various topics, actually providing direction on environmental topics to the leaders of Pima Association of Governments that sit on the regional council, which are the leaders of our jurisdictions. So I think that this is worthy of a thorough review, and those are the issues that I would like to see addressed.
I second that, and I would also add that in my experience, PAG, and in particular EPAC, used to be much more proactive, much more engaged, and actually do something other than listen to presentations, and that in the last few years, in the last many years, this committee has been neutered and been rendered unable to exert and exercise its obligation under the charter, which is to give input and advice to the boards above us, to provide them with information. They make the ultimate decisions, but it is our job to carefully consider these issues. I would agree with monthly meetings. I'm fine with making it Thursday to suit the people in Sahuarita. Bless them for getting Fridays off. Certainly, I mean, any reasonable accommodation is worthy. We've been breaking the rules so long, it doesn't matter to me if we break them a little longer. But when we do get back to actually being a functional group that does something meaningful, I would not be willing to just immediately change what has been imposed on us without our will, change the meeting schedule other than the dates. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Natalie. Again, we're opening it up for feedback from the full committee. We do have the future agenda items. We would appreciate an offering of discussions topics for the monthly meetings. We generally work off of the top environmental issues list as PAG staff, coming up with agendas, coming up with speakers. If any members have suggestions or recommendations, we welcome your input and your professional expertise in taking part in that. We're an advisory committee to the management committee. They are open at any time to request advice on environmental questions from us, and we can send recommendations upward as well.
Do we have a timeline for these, Dustin?
Like I said before, next meeting we'll be sending out the draft, and I can include the slides so far of proposed ideas from our staff.
Perfect. Sweet. Christina, we have time for one more comment, so go ahead.
My question was regarding suggestions for future agenda items, and actually it's a suggestion. I would suggest that you contact Nicole Fife at Pima County Administrator's Office and ask for a presentation regarding the 25th anniversary of the Sonoran Desert Conservation Plan and the 10-year anniversary of the incidental take permit 30-year permit, which, you know, we're now 10 years into. I think a lot of people have actually forgotten what that means and what those constraints are. Basically, it's your get out of jail free card. So part of the effort this year is to re-educate both staff and the other jurisdictions and the public about what this contract entails and the fact that it took almost 20 years to get to the point of signing the contract. So it's a very complex thing. It's not just about saving critters out there. It's about what we do, our CIP projects, and how we mitigate for those, including the county mitigating for county activities, such as its wastewater treatment plants and its impacts to important riparian areas. So I would like to ask that you add that to the agenda. And I see Natalie also has her hand up.
Yes, can I move on to the next item then, so we can freely open about it, talk about it? So I'm gonna move into future agenda items, and yeah, go ahead.
That's what I had my hand up about, so thank you. I would like to suggest that we invite TEP to this meeting and provide an update on how they will be providing renewable energy for the considerable increase in energy usage that will be needed in the future for the demands that we're seeing with data centers and mining. So I think that's a topic of hot discussion. Limited information exists right now on that topic, and I think it would be very relevant to this committee. Thank you.
Sweet, we'll note that topic. Anybody else have suggestions for future agenda items?
I do.
Go for it, Kimberly.
You know, for the Santa Rita Resource Recovery Facility, the Tohono O'odham Nation is such a valued stakeholder. The facility is very near their boundary. If discharges occur into the Santa Cruz River, you know, they'll obviously be considered. So I would like to propose inviting someone from the Tohono O'odham Nation and get their perspective on the project.
That's great.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll note that one as well. Anybody else? All right, hearing no more suggestions of items, we should move to item 9, which is adjournment. Is there a motion? What's that? Is there a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry.
So moved.
Does somebody second?
Second.
Perfect.
Second.
All in favor?
Only in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Aye.
the motion passes, so the meeting is adjourned at 11:24 a.m. So thank you so much.